What's up, guys? Sean here with BlueRidgeSilverhound, and it's that time of the week. We're going to take a look at some of the coolest little fancy serial number notes that have sold on eBay here in the last couple days. And, just to let everybody know, this is something that each and every single one of you can do. It's a burgeoning part of not only numismatics, but also paper money collecting in general. Um, Fancy serial numbers has been around, since the turn of the century, the last 20 years, and all of a sudden it's just, picking up a lot of steam. What exactly is fancy serial numbers? Well, fancies are a specific pattern of numbers that exist on the serial numbers of every note. It could be, in the case of this $10 bill we're seeing here, the pattern is there's a lot of eights in a row. There's six of them, as a matter of fact. And then there are other different types. If we had, say, eight in a row of any one number, they call that a solids note. You have eight ones, eight eights. There are certain numbers that are more valuable than others, just based off of symbolism, luck, things like that. There's also ladder notes, 1 through 8, 2 through 9, 0 through 7, that reads on the serial number in order. There's palindromes or radars. There's binaries, which are any two numbers in a serial number. It could be zeros and twos or ones and fives, things like that. But there's a myriad of different types in there as well. So, the idea is we're going to try and capture some of this information. The collector base is incredibly deep and very strong for fancy serial numbers. And as a result, we're seeing simply just robust sales. And the reason why I'm telling you guys that maybe you ought to participate in something like this is, number one, the BEP, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, who are responsible for printing our notes, they are printing new notes every single week. And we're seeing just an influx of brand new material that is coming into the game, into circulation, and it's always refreshed. And another thing to also keep in mind is that when you go to the bank and you ask for straps of notes, obviously you're going to get $100 in face value of ones, or $1,000 face value of twos or ones or whatever. But whatever it is you're getting, you're playing with house money. All right. There's really, in essence, no worry that can be had as a result of going through straps of bills from the bank, because at any given time you can take those very same notes and deposit them back in there. And with the way the market is going right now, a lot more people are making more money selling fancy serial numbers on eBay and any other capacity. Facebook, there's a few fancy serial number groups as well. People are making more money hunting through just good old bills than they are coin roll hunting. So we're beginning to see a little bit of a shift there. So we are going to take a look at everything here that eBay has to offer from about the last day or two. I usually like to go back 48 hours. It's the freshest realized sales. It's up to the minute. You know exactly how much these notes are going for in today's marketplace. And that's going to help you guys decide if whether or not you should sell it now or wait later. All right, because the market, there is fluctuations. Like we're about ready to be, into the Christmas, like that final 7 to 10 days. You may not want to sell these notes until after the first of the year. So just a little something to consider. One more thing before we jump right in. We don't talk about graded notes, because the idea is you find these, you take a picture, you throw them up on eBay for a 5-day, 7-day auction. You can do it at buy it now, which is especially useful for notes like birthday notes, that read as a specific date on there. We actually have one or two of those here on the show today. But keep the money in your pocket. It's not going to be worth spending the $30 to $40 to submit these to companies like PCGS Banknote or PMG, when all you can do is take a good photo, throw it up on eBay, reap the rewards when it's all done. All right. So the first one that we have here, 2017 $10 bill, shows 6 in a row eights. And it really does make a whole lot of difference when all the numbers, if you have a lot of one number, if they're all grouped together in succession, in this case, that works out perfectly. You'll always have to consider the face value when you're looking through notes. Because consider the face value as being your cost of ownership of that note. In this case, this person has a $10 bill, therefore it costs them $10 to own the note. So the higher the denomination, the less money you'll make. So keep that in mind when you go to the bank and you're grabbing some of these straps. Go for the ones, the twos, and at some instances fives are okay as well. So in this particular instance, it sold for $21.50 with two bids. But also keep in mind the seller did charge $5.25 for shipping as a completely separate line item. So the total cost of the note for sales is $26.75 is what it cost the buyer to own this one. So after it's all said and done, this person probably made about $8 in profit. While not incredible, keep in mind they all add up. They go into the same bucket. The more money you make, you could take that money and then turn around and put it into more inventory, or you could go and buy something you really like. You could pay off bills, things like that. So pretty neat way to make some extra money, especially this time of year. The next one that we have here is a $5 bill, 2017A. This one's pretty neat, actually. The serial number features ones, twos, and threes. So it's like a mini ladder of three numbers, all kind of like jumbled into the serial number. And this one sold for $25. Okay. It's a $5 bill again. So the profit is quite a bit more than that $10 bill that we just looked at. And the note seems to be in pretty decent shape. It has a hard centerfold, which is quite common because these are folded in half, put into wallets, billfolds, things like that. And, when that generally happens and the note looks like this, where it's still nice looking, the inks are very bright and robust. There's not a whole lot of dirt and soiling. Something like this is a high-end VF note. Very fine. And because of that, this is going to be a highly collectible tier of grading, for people that are looking for specific types of serial number patterns. So, nice one there. Here's a birthday note. Ironically, this is my daughter's birthday, but it's that the year of the note is not when she was born. This is a 2017 $1 bill that reads 0827-2022. And I always tell people when they come across birthday notes that orient correctly based off of the Western way, and that's 2 digits for the month, two digits for the day, 4 digits for the year. When it's oriented correctly like that, they're going to be the most desirable. But keep in mind, specific dates mean something different to various people. There might only be 1, 2, or 3 people that want specifically this date right here. And that's why that you would list these particular notes, birthday notes or historical dates, things like that, as buy it now listings. And they traditionally go for between $20 and $30. The last one that I did buy for myself ended up costing me $29.99. I realized the value in that type of note and paid the market for it. And that's kind of how this whole thing works. When you realize that and you see the value, that's where kind of like money changes hands and people are making money, right? So this one pretty cool, $20. Here's a little bit of a close-up. You can see it reads 08/27/2022. Incredibly neat. This kid that was born at this date is just over a year old. All right, so yeah, there's going to be some meaning here for someone. And again, that's kind of part of the fun of the fancy serial number collecting community, is to recognize things like this. The next one that we have here is a $20 bill, which is a high denomination, but let's consider the actual serial number because it's a binary. It's a low serial number. It's 5 leading zeros and then 200. But you also have seven of a kind zeros as well. So it's kind of like a hybrid of various different types of archetypes of fancy serial numbers. This $120 bill sold for $50, which is not too bad, considering. And the note is incredibly visually stunning with all the zeros. You have the two in just the right place. It'd be better if it was one over, so it would read as number 20 on a $20 bill. I mean, that would be a clutch find right there. But again, we're talking about a note that's in relatively nice shape. It's a nice solid VF. The paper has tons of body, and the inks look good. So that's a pretty good sale there on a 20. It's like a magic trick. Hey, you want to see me turn this $20 bill into a 50, and then there you go. You did it. We have come across our first binary note, this time featuring sevens and eights, probably the two best numbers that you could combo together, aside from zeros and ones. But sevens and eights are two of the luckiest numbers. Seven is lucky to us here in the Western world, whereas eights are lucky in places like China and Japan and a few others. This is a $1 bill, 2013, and because of that, this one ended up selling for $34.95, which is quite a bit more than face value, and this is exciting to see this type of sale for a note that has a face value of $1. I know the premise just seems strange, right? It's like, I have a dollar bill and I'm gonna turn around and sell for 35. Like, where's the rationale in that? But it's part of the collectability to it all. I think it's really cool, and this is something I could see why that this segment of the hobby is catching all sorts of headwinds into a new collectible arena, and we're beginning to see it more and more every day. So the next one that we have here is yet again another low serial number. It's a 3-digit 2009 $1 bill. And this one sold for $17.50, 10 bids. The note is quite rough in a way that it has a lot of stains on there, and that did play into what it sold for. Which, if it didn't have all the stains, it's probably a note that would have sold for about $30 to $50. 511, right? It's cool. I mean, and yeah, outside of that, it's a decent looking note. It faces on the back better. The back faces better than the front, which is unfortunate because when it comes to determining value, it's what's on front that really matters the most. And then when you have foxing and stains and rust stains and all that stuff, that really does hinder the value of such. $50 bill. This thing better be a gauntlet for that high face value. And it is. It's a true binary. True binaries by nature are zeros and ones. And this one has both. This one sold for a staggering sum of $179.95. And when we look closer, sure, it does have some what they call annotative writing on there. So someone took a pen and wrote something on there. And this one, you can see all the zeros, you can see all the ones in there. And what's also pretty neat is you have the two I's at the beginning, the prefix letters. And that kind of goes together with the type style of all the ones. So it looks like a bunch of ones all the way across. Pretty good sale at over 3 times face value. This is probably one of the best performing notes here of the last 7 days. So well done there. Another cool one here. I'm telling you, man, these notes, people are doing a good job finding these. We have a 2017 $20 bill. Binary, low serial number, low fancy serial number, and it's a star note. This one ended up selling for $41, and that's with 13 bids. There's a little bit of a close-up. Just really cool the way it's all patterned, zeros and eights, with the star, which is a replacement note. Again, another solid VF, nice clean margins, no tears, nothing that would say, hey, this note has problems. Just a really beautiful piece. Here's a $2 bill. This one, they put almost binary, but it's a trinary. So it's got three different numbers and a serial number. A great sale here, $35 for a trinary on this one. It's a 2017 A, and you can see that it has a 0, but a bunch of 5s and one 8 in there. All right, so three different numbers. Too bad that 8 isn't another 5. That would be spectacular. This note would probably sell for double what this one did just now. So yeah, look out for that. That's a nice trinary note. When they're grouped all together like this and they're kind of like clean and attractive, they tend to sell for more money. Whereas traditional other types of trinaries, where the numbers are all jumbled up and messy, they don't sell for nearly as much. We also have this one here. Now, this is more like it. This is a true binary. This is a binary with lots of 8s and a couple of 5s. $20 is what this one sold for. One bid. Probably this one, grade-wise, isn't too great, but there it is. So a little bit of soiling, a little bit of discoloration in the paper, which is evident in this one. And again, those type of things influence the note's sale through it all. Okay, as attractive as that serial number is, condition really does play a role in what the final results are. So keep that in mind. But at no means do I tell you clean up your note with a pencil eraser or dipping it in soapy bath water. Don't do that. It's the same as cleaning coins. It's not something you should do. Another binary here. It's 0s and 4s on this 2017 A $1 bill. $11.50, 8 bids. This one did sell pretty late in the evening, at past 7 o'clock at night on the 10th, which was yesterday. But there you go, 0s and 4s. And you have an equal mix of both. 4 0s, 4 4s. That's what you like to see. There's a little bit of a better look at the entire note. Okay, very attractive. Again, nice solid VF. This is kind of like the minimal grade that a lot of collectors of these love. We also have this one here, which is a 6 in a row with a lot of 2s and then 36. Pretty nice sale here, $26, 16 bids. 2006 $1 bill, and then yet again another clean looking note. This one I dare say is crackling fresh. It's straight out of a BEP pack. Very nice looking note, and a great sale too. Here's also a near solid. They call this 7 of a kind 3s. With a 7 right in the middle there on this $10 bill. Solid sale, probably underperformed by just a shade. At $66, 24 total bids. Okay, a lot of activity here. And there you go. I love the $10 bills with fancies, because it has like We the People, and it's very patriotic. You got the torch right there from Lady Liberty. And, you got the bigger torch on the other side. Beautiful engraving. A few little areas that could be problematic. This looks like it's a margin tear right here. You have a few hard folds as well. That center fold's especially hard. And, this one, I would say probably not a VF. I'm probably talking about maybe a fine 12 here, which again plays into the role of how much these things sell for. Selling for $66, while not bad, in nicer shape, this one probably could have hit $80 to $100. All right, so not a whole lot more loss, but as far as what people are willing to push onto this one, it's a little bit stunted there. We also have this one here, which is another true binary. Lot more 0s in this one than the previous example, and 3 1s. On this 2009 $1 bill, sold very late in the evening. This one sold at 9:21. Make sure that you're not listing these too late, because they will end at exactly the same time in which you've listed them. 9 o'clock, way too late, because that's Pacific time. It's going to end up being past midnight for the folks there on the East Coast. And you got to keep in mind that here, stateside, this is probably the largest concentration fancy serial number collectors, second only to China. China loves 168s and all eights. All right, and they pay a heavy premium to own those notes, but at the same time, they want to be awake when these things are still rolling. So, very strong sale, 34.33. There you go, zeros and ones. Very well circulated note. Again, this one I probably put in the fine category of grade, with a few little edge splits as well. We have our first true trinary, and it actually reads as a date as well. I think this is probably one of the coolest notes that I've seen, hybrid style. Sold for $30. There you go. A buy it now listing. When you do a buy it now on a birthday note, you protect the value of it. If you absolutely don't need the money right away, list your birthday notes like this. All right. So true trinaries are zeros, ones, and twos. This one has all of them, but yet they're all arranged as a birth date. 12/20/2022. December 20th. It's a Christmas holiday birthday, which is crazy. And another strong showing in this particular segment. Cool. I love seeing red seals with some sort of, something on it. And this one actually is, let's see, zeros, ones, twos, and a three. So there's no such thing as a quadnary. Okay, I hope that's something that's not going to be, taking shape here in the near future. But call it like a mini ladder scramble. So it's got zeros, ones, twos, and threes in the serial number. It did sell for $29.99. Very well done. And it's on this $2 legal tender red seal, 1963. All right, so great looking note. Low end, kind of VF 20, 25-ish. Does have a fair amount of circulation wear. We also have this one here, which it's a star note. It's a semi-low serial number, not too low. 5 digits I consider not a low serial number. But it is from a print run block of only 250,000. Okay, so it's very light on the print run for this iStar district block. And again, use websites like mycurrencycollection.com to verify the print run of all your star notes. And then sell them appropriately. When the print run is very low, you could ask a lot more money for them. All right. We have a few left here. We have another binary on a $20 bill. And this is a heck of a sale. $159 realized on this one as a buy it now. So they price protected the whole deal on this one. $20 bill. Keep in mind that in YouTube's edit tool for photos, you can rotate the images. So please do that to make them more friendly to the eyes. But again, this is another worn, weathered $20 bill. It's got a little bit of a edge tear at the bottom, middle, and then of course some teller ink as well on the bottom right corner. So yeah, this one was quite the overperformer based off of condition and the serial number, but still nonetheless a good sale. Here's another 6 in a row serial number, this time all fours with a 20 at the end. This one sold for $20. 1963 note, and very clean example as well. Crackling fresh and a little bit older, so you get different colored inks on this one. A little bit lighter green. We have this one. This one was damn near legendary. So it sold for $80. It's a 2017 A, and it was so close to being a true descending ladder. 76543-120. The 1 and 2 just has to flip-flop, and you have a note that's probably worth about $500-$600. Instead, $80 is a good consolation prize here. But also recognize that these are the type of serial numbers that are constantly overlooked. All right. People will look at this and are like, well, I don't see anything special. But for those of us that have kind of like that trained collector eye, is what I like to call, you can find something like this. Yeah, pretty nice. And it's a decent condition note too. And the final one, believe it or not, this is one of the steals of the last couple days. Binary threes and eights. There are six eights in there on this 2013 $1 bill. It only managed to sell for $10, and not for a lack of trying. This seller did use some keywords in the listing title that's necessary. Fancy serial number, two-digit binary, six of a kind eights. So, they did put all the information in there. What I will say is that the note doesn't look too healthy. It looks like a very sickly animal, like it doesn't have much time left. I mean, it's pretty rough condition, and that's fine. There's still a collector for notes like this. I would probably put this one at about a VG. Plus, it also has like little sticky kind of stains on there. Don't know what it is, but again, this one, not the prettiest note, and even with the serial number was not enough to kind of float it up to a good price. Like this could have very well been like a $20-25 note, and we would have been okay with it. But yeah, this was a swing and a miss here. Oh, its best day probably could have fetched 15-20, but the hard fold and all that, kind of salted a lot of collectors. So there you go. There's some fancy serial numbers that did sell really well here in the last couple days, and always a pleasure to talk about this with you. It's a growing segment of the hobby. I would certainly take advantage of that as more people are pumping more money into it. And it's really easy for you guys to make extra money when you do find these. So that's going to go ahead and do it. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the content here. Ugh. And I wish you guys the best of luck if you're going to go out and do this sort of thing. It's pretty easy to do, and you're playing with your own money. Return it anytime you want. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys later. Happy hunting, and have a good week.